Hey everyone, and welcome back to 6 Ashes and part 4 of our Let's Play series. So we are just on our way up to the fuel station to refuel before we head to the store to pick up our planter, as we are getting close to being empty. I did do 3 further contracts fertilising after the last episode, so last day of summer was spent doing that. So we are a little low on fuel. So we'll go and fill up, and then we'll head to the store to buy our new planter, and we'll just complete the contracts. I've also taken on 2 baling contracts. We won't do those today, we'll do those tomorrow because I want to get the corn planted as a priority. So we'll quickly just complete these though. So field 44, field 8 and field 63 fertilising contracts. Has a lot more fertilising contracts to do again, but I say I've taken out these 2 baling contracts, so I've borrowed the equipment on one of them, and then we'll use that equipment on both contracts. I just need to remember not to complete the contract that has given us the equipment before I finish both contracts, otherwise the equipment will get returned. So we head up to the store now and say pick up our planter. We'll get our corn done. We may possibly make a start on the 2 baling contracts depending on how quick we get through the planting of the corn. So possibly may look at getting 1 field cut and baled today, and then deliver the bales next time, and then finish off the other one, but we'll see how we go. So as I said, we are now into early summer. There wasn't really much to do on the last day of spring, so might as well skip ahead to summer so we can get our corn planted. So this is the equipment we've got for the baling contract. There's a fair bit. So we've got the front and rear butterfly mowers, a Valtra T series I think, just have a quick look, no, S series 324. So we've got the reverse drive on that, so we can, don't know if it's a thing you would do, but we could possibly put the butterfly mowers front mower onto the rear of that and drive in reverse with the Kuhn merger on the back, swapping it all up. And we've got the Kuhn square baler, bale wrapper, and then the Artisan 16 bale collector. Now I'm hoping there's going to be enough space for us to get our planter. So planter wise, we're going to go with the Lemkin one from the base game, as I think that's probably our best option. So it's a little bit cheaper than the Vaderstad, low horsepower requirement as well. It does hold a little bit less seed and fertiliser, but not a huge amount of difference, to be fair. I think that's 96 litres on the seed and then 200 litres on the fertiliser. Other options is these, but I don't think they both do seed and fertiliser. I'm not 100% sure. I think that one does. It's only 4.5 metre wide. It is slightly cheaper, but not a huge amount. So we're going to go with this one. I'll get the fertiliser tank, and then we need a pallet of fertiliser, and then we need a pallet of corn seed, which is maize seed under the realistic seeder. That's 2,150 for 2,100 litres. I'm not sure how much of this we'll use. One of the downside of planters is they do tend to have a fairly small capacity when it comes to the seed. Now, where is our actual planter? Did it not purchase? Did it come up? There was no room. I didn't notice. I'll get this one hooked up first. May need to move these mowers then, if that's the case. I don't remember seeing the message come up. Let's just double check. Planters, do we own one? No. Okay. Right, so what we'll do, we'll quickly just get these mowers hooked up to the vault trap. Just so clear a bit of space in the workshop so we can spawn the planter. What I'll do, just move these, just leave that there for now. We'll come back for that when we need it. So yeah, we need to buy the planter. I'll actually buy it this time. Okay, I obviously wasn't paying any very close attention when I bought it. Didn't even notice the money hadn't gone down. Let's get that hooked up. Hoses. Don't think there's a PTO on this one. Nope. Lift up the front tank as well. So that's the fertiliser all filled up. And then we'll get the corn seed in. So what I'll probably do is, I'm thinking about getting a small trailer for that we can pull with the Land Rover. So may get that and get those pallets of seed and fertiliser back to the yard using that. As we have got another slight project. Visibility with this front tank on's a bit poor. Let's lower that down. I don't know if that's... still plenty of ground clearance in the load position, and makes visibility from the cab air a little bit easier to see. So we'll head down to field 41. We'll do that one first, and then we'll head up to the other 3 fields that we've got. We'll get those done, and that'll be all our fields with crops in. We have had quite a few more weeds pop up in the other fields that we've got the barley and canola in, so we will need to get some herbicide on those. It's another job possibly look at this afternoon, and then we'll just leave all the baling contract till tomorrow to get that done. Yeah, so we'll see what time it is when we finish the planting. I've also had a quick go at trying to remove some of the trees that I mentioned in the last episode out of the back of this shed here. I have got one cut up and out of the way. As you can just see, there's a small pile of logs. So it does look like we will be able to remove most of those to get some kind of either grain storage or a machine shed to store some of our equipment in. We'll start over this side. Kind of try and follow the lines in the ground. Just about see the straight lines. So I'll get this switched on and load down. Put 4-wheel drive on. And away we go, planting our corn. Although, considering the requirement of this is quite considerably lower than our tractor, I do seem to be struggling a little bit. Yeah, so what we kind of going to plan to do is over summer and before our crops are ready to harvest, we want to try and get enough money to buy the combine harvester and a baler. The one I'm looking at, I think we're going to need around 60,000 for the combine and header. We only need the grain header to start with, because the corn won't be ready until a little bit later, and then we need the baler before we need that as well. I'm not sure on the baler yet, I've not had a look at what's available, so we need to try and get the money for that. And the baling contracts are worth 16 and 15,000, so that's going to be a fair bit. We do need to take some off for borrowing the equipment, so that's going to reduce it a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see quite how many bales we get left over that we can then sell. But we'll need to wait for those to ferment into silage before we can actually sell them. So that's going to be a few days. But if we get that done tomorrow, and then I should be ready by late summer to sell. That'll give us a nice boost. Unfortunately, we don't own the BGA, so we won't get the slightly higher price. Current price for silage is 114 per 1,000 litres, so if we do 8,000 litre bales, which I will be doing, I'm using the variable bale capacity mod, we're only going to get about £828 per bale, so it's still not a bad amount if we can get 10 bales extra off each field. I'm not sure if we'll get that many, so I have no idea exactly how many we'll get, but it could be an extra 8 to 10,000 on top of the actual contract, so that'll go a long way to being able to afford the combine and baler, the header as well. As I also want to try and get the grain storage in. Okay, last little bit to do on field 41, and that's this field all done. Hasn't taken too long at all to do, so it shouldn't really take us too long to get the other 3 fields done. And so we can then have a look at getting some herbicide on our other fields. Don't think we'll start the baling contract today. I think we'll just leave all that till the next episode to get all that done, as I imagine it's going to take quite a while getting everything done. We do have obviously this tractor to use as well, so we can get a worker going on starting up like windrowing or merging the grass while we do the cutting. It'll save a little bit of time on that. We're going to have to go through and bale up and wrap all the bales ourselves when we come to do that, so we'll head up to the next 3 fields and we'll get those done. Okay, so we're up at the top 3 fields. We'll do 24 first. Not going to have enough corn seed to do all 3 fields, so we will need to go and get the pallets from the store at some point. But we get as much done as we can, and then we'll sort that out and see how much is left to do. Again, I'll start over this far side, just following the lines that are already in the field. And then we'll do the headland last. We'll get that switched on, turn 4-wheel drive back on, and away we go. Okay, so that is field 24 all done, and we've got 53 litres left of the corn seed. What I'm going to do, as we should be able to get these next two fields done easy with one more full tank, I'll just drive back up to the store rather than mess around bringing the stuff down here. I thought we may have to fill up 2-3 times, 4 times possibly with seed, but as we don't need to, I may as well just make up one trip back up to the store and get that done. So I'll finish using up what's left in the tank, and then I'll head up the store and refill and get these two fields done, and then we'll get the sprayer hooked up and then go and deal with the weeds up in fields 47, 77 and 78, and we'll get those all sorted today. So that's one less job to worry about. Okay, so we're just finishing off the last little bit of field 26, and that will be all our corn planted, down to the last 71 litres of the second full tank of seed. So we've pretty much used just under 1200 litres, so with half the pallet we bought. So technically we've got enough left in that pallet to redo these fields next year, which we won't be doing because I do want to go through the crop rotation. So we'll be doing different crops in these fields yet next year. We'll go through the plan when the harvest's all done and see which is the best crop to go in these fields next. Obviously they will require ploughing before we do that as well, having corn in them. So I think that field is all done. I'll get that switched off and folded up, and that field is fully fertilised as well. Yep, so field 27 needs one more application of fertiliser. 26 and 24 are both done, and then 41 is also now fully fertilised, along with 47, 77, 78. So we've got one field of fertiliser to do, and as I say, we do need to go and deal with these weeds. 47's got a few patches now, and these two as well. So we'll head back to the farm, we'll get switched over to the sprayer. We'll have to go up to the store and get a IBC of herbicide, get the tank filled up, and then we'll get those weeds killed off. Okay, so we're just on our way up to the store to get a IBC of herbicide. Got the sprayer set up now. I've also fitted the narrow wheels to the tractor. That cost around £200 for that. Well, but now we've bought those, it'll be free to switch to those in the future. I will buy another fertiliser hose that we can keep up at the store, because I took the other one we bought back. I did have a slight problem as well with the refillable fertiliser tank I bought. I did take that back to the yard. I tried emptying the fertiliser that we had left in here into it, and yeah, for some reason the IBC disappeared. Not quite sure what happened, so I had to just unload the normal way, and I've got 2 partial IBCs of fertiliser back at the farm now. So I don't know why when you click on this for the first time you don't get the option. Well, if you go back out and click on, you can then choose between standard and refillable. I'm pretty sure I definitely bought a refillable one for the liquid fertiliser. So that one definitely does say refillable. We'll purchase that. I will just get the one that should be more than enough what we need. Oh, we also need the hose, which I literally just mentioned. We'll buy one to keep up here, so we're not having to travel up and down with a hose, because there's nowhere really to store it. So we'll get this filled up, and then we'll head over to the fields that we need to do. Okay, so just coming up to field 78, which we'll do first. So you can see only a few small patches, but hoping when we spray this it'll show up on the ground, it'll darken and we can see where we've actually been. We'll do the whole field if we can, and then that should prevent any further weeds coming through. So you can see where the darkened area is, so this should act as a preventative as well as kill off the weeds that are currently in it. But I should imagine with the growth getting quite big now that it would be very difficult for any future weeds to come through anyway, so there wouldn't be much light getting down to the ground. The weeds I'm sure would get probably smothered by the crop itself at this stage. But yeah, hopefully this will prevent any further weeds so we don't have to come up here and spray again. As I mentioned before, I'm still not 100% sure on the weeds and how they work with seasons. Recording this episode before the previous one has been published, so I've not read any comments, so if anybody has left any comments, I've not seen them yet. So yeah, it's a learning process of working out the best way to tackle weeds, or like the easiest and best way to go around doing it in seasons. So I think this is the main patch of weeds just here, which are all now being killed off. Nice field of canola over there. So obviously got put in a little bit earlier than ours. It's a bit further ahead. We might possibly be able to get a contract on that for harvesting sooner than ours will be ready. What's that, field 74? So that could possibly be ready for late summer. I don't think ours will be ready till early autumn at the earliest. As I say, we were a little bit behind getting the crops in compared to some of the other fields on the map. Right, so 77 next, and then we'll head down and do fields 47. Okay, that's field 78 and 77 all done. I'll go and get field 47 done, and then we'll head back to the farm and have a look at what we'll do for the rest of the afternoon. I don't think it's worth us starting the baling contract now, just in case there's any issues with the bales being left unwrapped and any potential rain washing away our bales for that contract. I don't know what happens to grass on contract work if you leave it lying around, or if it does rain while you're actually doing the contract, to be honest. If the grass actually starts to disappear, you might be left potentially with a shortfall. Yeah, I'm not quite sure on that one. I know there is the grass can regrow while you're doing the, if you do the contract over a couple of days and you go from one part of the season, so if you start in early summer then you skip to like midsummer, midway through the contract overnight, the grass can regrow, which then can affect the outcome of the contract. But not sure about what happens if it rains while you're doing the contract, if the, as it's a contract field, whether that affects the grass, cut grass or not, and the bales. Not 100% sure. If anybody does know, let me know. Be quite interesting to find that one out. Yeah, not in a nasty way, but I'd rather find out by somebody let me know than finding out for myself and having a contract go, well, contract get messed up because of rain washing away all the grass. So I'll finish getting this one done, we'll head back to the yard, and then what I'm thinking is we'll go and buy a small trailer and then have a look at removing a few of the trees from the yard and get them over to the sawmill, just see how much we make and see if it's actually worth taking the trees or whether it's worth just leasing something that we can just delete the trees rather than spend the time cutting them up to remove them, because we're going to have to cut them up into fairly small pieces to be able to lift some of the logs. So yeah, we'll probably have a look at that. Herbicide spraying is all done for now anyway. We'll more than likely have our cornfields to do. So what we're going to do is just nip over to the store. We're going to buy a trailer that we can pull with the Land Rover. So we'll probably look for, get one of the Ifor Williams trailers that we can use then for transporting pallets around and other stuff. So we want low loaders. I think I'm just going to go with the smaller one. I don't think we'll need anything bigger because we have got the other trailer. So we'll go with the 4 ladder rack and sides, and we'll put the UK plate on. So that's 4,055 for that. So that takes us down to 77,950. What I'll do with all the, or most of the equipment for the contract, I'll get that down to the field ready for the morning, so we can pretty much start on that straight away. The weather forecast for tomorrow is for a very sunny day, so I'm hoping we don't have problems with the grass turning to hay before we've finished baling it all up. So just check. I don't think is there. Oh, wrong one. Is there any electric cables to hook up? Don't think so. Right. So we'll get this back to the yard. We'll have a go at cutting a few of the trees. I won't do all of them because there are quite a few. Most of it's going to be done off camera as well, because watching chainsawing trees is not great viewing. I find it very unpleasant to watch. It doesn't look good. Time lapse, it looks awful. I try and avoid it as much as possible. I have done it myself in the past, reluctantly, because it's kind of no other way of getting rid of some trees. But yeah, I really don't like doing it in the time lapse at all. It's one of the reasons why I did No Man's Land. Obviously I used the second account on multiplayer to have the fixed camera while I did all the cutting the trees down and throwing the logs in the trailers. So it was a fixed camera, so you're not watching the camera constantly moving around. Originally I wanted to do that on Grizzly Mountain because I wanted to initially start that series with absolutely nothing but a chainsaw and a small trailer and truck as well, but because I didn't want to do the first person logging, I opted to start with a little bit of machinery. Same on Wilhelmina as well. So as I said, I've already cut one tree up. Let's turn the engine off. So we have got a few pieces here that I can lift up and we can drop in. We do have straps on this, so we can strap these stuff down. But if we can get a couple of trees, so we can clear enough space in here to either get a new machine shed or then the grain storage. I do have this, which I'm thinking of using for grain storage. This is the Global Company Maize Plus Storage mod, the bulk material storage. So this takes all standard in-game crops, so wheat, barley, canola, straw, corn, grass, and it also does all the maize plus forage extension like alfalfa, clover, onions, carrots. So it's in 22,000 to place. We can only store 3 different crops in it at one time, and you do need to unload it with a bucket. even a lot wheel loader, telehandler. But yeah, I think that would work for us. It's fairly cheap, it doesn't take up too much space, and we can fit it in there or a little bit further down. I might need to just take off a little bit of this field, probably square up this end of the field going across to give us a bit more space to get in, and then get a machine shed in here where we can store some more equipment, because if we have a look, our shed round here is starting to fill up a little bit with everything we've got in here, and we still need a combine, baler, headers, so we've still got quite a bit to get. Grain trailer as well. So what I'll do is I'll probably fill up the trailer at least once, and then we'll get this over to the sawmill, see how much we actually make off this, see if it's actually worth bothering to do it this way, or look for something that can delete the trees. But the only thing I can think of is the lizard treks from Black Sheep Modding, which is, I think, around about 100,000. That's going to be pretty pricey to lease. So if we can avoid doing that, that one's a bit too heavy. Got 2 for 1 there. Yeah, so if we can avoid leasing anything like that, it's going to save us obviously a bit of money. So what I'll do, I'll finish filling up this trailer, which is pretty much almost full from the one tree, and we'll get over to the sawmill, sell this load, see how much we make. Actually, we could, if we get a decent amount off this tree, we could potentially make enough to pay for the grain storage, because there are probably, what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably about 10, 12 trees in there. So yeah, we could potentially make a decent amount, and obviously every little bit's going to help us until we are fully established with the pigs and we're starting to make money off those regularly. I think the last few little bits. There's one more little bit after this, and then we'll take this. This isn't the full tree because I think some of it fell through the ground because it was sunk. So I managed to cut it off above ground, but I think what was below ground is either still there or it's disappeared into oblivion. So I'll just get the straps on this, and then we'll head over to the sawmill. Okay, so we're at the sawmill. We can swing around. We'll see how much we get off this. I reckon we'll probably get around 500-600 for a few scraggly bits of wood. That won't be too bad. But it's probably going to be a little bit more than I expect. I'm not 100% sure where the trigger is. I know the cell marker is in here. Oh, there we go. Oh, 1,454. So it's a little bit more than I was expecting. So that's not off one full tree. It has all sold. So yeah, we could, if we get that per tree, we could be looking at 10,000-15,000 in total for if we clear all the trees. Probably won't do all of them. I'll probably leave a few right down in the corner. But I think it will be worth trying to get as many of them cleared as we can, and we can use that little bit of space to expand the yard without then taking up too much of field 41. So we can try and keep as much of that as possible for now to utilise. Okay, so we're back at the yard. So 1,400 is not bad from that one first tree. I have already started to cut down the next one, although yeah, it is extremely difficult to actually see in there. So I'm going to do most of this off camera. So what I'll probably do is, before the next episode, is get probably down to around this tree here, going back up that way, get all those cleared and cut up ready I'll fill the trailer up and then I'll stack what's left to one side. I'll also get all the equipment down from the store down to fields. I think it's 45 and 57. Yeah, 45 and 57 we've got to do for the contract, so we'll probably do 57 first. So I'll get the equipment down there ready for that for the next episode. Also, I'll get these trees cleared because it's not going to be yeah, great to watch. It's going to be difficult for myself to actually do rather than actually sitting there having to watch it. But yeah, if we can get those cleared, we've got, I say, there is quite a decent amount of space here, and we're not really going to cut into this field, but we may just use the landscaping tool and straighten off that edge to give us a bit more space, so we're not driving over the crop and the field for that. So I think for today we'll leave it there. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, then please don't forget to give it a like. If you've not yet subscribed, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. We've got new Farming Simulator 19 videos coming every day. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you again. Goodbye.